Hi ladies and gents, so thought I would start today's video just in the lounge. So this is at home, so this is my reef tank that's behind me. Thought I'd start here, one because it's a bit quieter this morning in the house. Little one's back at nursery after all the festivities, so just thought yeah, we'd start here. Also probably going to finish here as well, so I'll show you around this tank behind me, which is just waking up this morning. So this afternoon it'll be a little bit brighter. I've got some work to do on this. And I've only got one marine tank to do, so instead of sitting out in a cold van, I thought I'd give you a little idea of what's going on here. So today's tank is a marine tank, predominantly a softy one. Moved this for the gentleman about 18 months ago. It was his first real tank. So what we did was we moved it in, complete change, about 20 minutes down the road from where he lives, and reset it all up, and all in one day. So no real hitches, lost the chromis I think, so unfortunately that's part of moving tanks. And then I've been looking after it for the last 18 months. Initially started weekly, and then we dropped it to twice a month. Main reason being that actually softy dominated tank doesn't need lots of visits. It's really simple again, just got a skimmer in it, bit of filter floss on the downpipes, and loads of live rock that I'll show you. I'm going to take my tripod today, so hopefully you get an idea of what I actually do whilst I'm there as well. So yeah, test 75 litre water change, check the filter floss, replace some raw floss just to keep on top of the phosphates, which are sort of 1.67, so really high, almost 2. And that's not a mistake, that's not a 0.2, that's almost 2, so on the Hannah checkers. So I'll show you all that, and then we'll come back here, as I said, have a look around the tank, show you what I'm going to do today. Gonna do some stuff with like my DI resin, and need to clean the sump out, which will become obvious why in a bit. Right, let's head off, we'll get up to the tank and we'll catch up there. So this is my van, so just thought I'd give you a little tour of it. One is I need to clean it up, so it'll keep me accountable to making sure it's clean, and also just to let you know how it works. So got my trolley with my main equipment in there. I'll show you through this at some point. A couple of barrels for dirty. Underneath that's all my test kit, some filter floss above, some glass holders and various other bits. Lots of my store stuff on the top. Buckets, poly boxes for moving things around, and then obviously my rack that one of my best buddies helped me make, that has loads of bits and bobs in it. So pretty basic, pretty standard, not too messy at the moment, but lots of stuff to do on that. So just a little insight into how I work, and if you're thinking about setting it up, the sort of thing that you might want or might need to do this sort of thing. All right, let's get in and get going. So here we are, just walked in to this customer's house, so water getting up to temperature. All the rest of my junk, haven't even got the towels out yet, so just walked in. So 1200 Aquamarine 1200, so it's 120 centimeters long, about 400 liters total volume within the whole tank. As I said, very simple setup, couple of wave makers, really nice toadstool that really gets annoyed with me when I go in there, but have a look at it before. Good bunch of anemones. Quite a few clowns in here, 4 or 5 clowns in here in total, which host various anemones, and the softies, as well as a couple of herbivores, some urchins. There's also a really nice mandarin dragonet, which I'll try and get some pictures of as we go through. And then down into the sump. So for those that aren't aware, Aquamarine sumps have glass sliding doors, really nice for volume control, and very simple here with just biological filtration, filter floss that I'll change out, a skimmer, return pump, and ATO down the back. So my plan is we'll get some testing done. I'll show you some of that, some of the results of that. Again, runs relatively high, but usually pretty good. And then we'll crack on with glass cleaning, changing out some raw phos, and there's also some of the purple cloves that I keep pulling out every now and again, with the odd Aptasia as well, which I also use some Aptasia F, or F Aptasia, sorry, to get rid of that as well. So I'll show you how all that looks in a bit as we go through. All right then, guys. Also forgot to say, so yeah, I'm looking after this tank for the customer. He basically said it's your tank in my house, so that's how we work it. So I just keep everything ticking on, and it's on autopilot to a certain extent. That autopilot being 3-barrel water change every 2 weeks, as well as testing and just making sure that everything's good. But again, we'll discuss that as we go through in a little bit more detail. So this is my test kit, everything that I use. So we've got all the Hannah ones, so nitrate, phosphate, alkalinity, which I do on 90% of tanks, and then occasionally I'll look at magnesium, calcium, depends if there's something going on. Also got trusty Reef actometer. So something recently that I found out about Reef actometers is that they work best when they're at room temperature. So because mine goes on the van and gets cold, what I tend to do with this guy is he tends to go in my pocket as soon as I turn up at a tank, and then once he's in there, he'll just warm up, and then I'll do the testing after I've done my nitrate, phosphate, and alkalinity. Also have par meter. So this is the ITC Reef Culture Pro. So this is the Parwise Pro, sorry. So this is the new one that they brought out that a customer very kindly donated to me, and then we use it on his tank and on mine. Yeah, syringes, all the other sort of standard bits and pieces that I keep in this just to keep it nice and protected. So I'll run through the testing and I'll show you what the testing looks like once we've done it. So just finishing with the testing side of things. So alkalinity is a bit on the high side, 11.1. So I'll get the customer to turn down the Alpha Reef that we run on this tank, because 11's getting towards that 12 zone that I don't like too much. Phosphate is got, well, they've both got about 30 seconds left. I like it when these all line up nicely like this. My OCD likes this quite a lot. So yeah, phosphate I've diluted half and half with RO because I know this tank runs quite high, even though we run phosphate in a media bag, just to keep on top of it and make sure that we're pulling some of it out, which I change every 2 weeks. Nitrate usually sits around the 30 mark, so we'll see where we are with both of these as they come up live together. So moment of truth. So there we go. So yeah, 0.84, so double that to give you a reading. My brain can't do that at the minute. So yeah, it's 1.68. So yeah, pretty high, 1.7. And then nitrate, yeah, that's the reading, about 30. So again, about to do 75 litre water change. So that will come down sort of in and around 20%, and we'll lower that down. So I'm going to rinse these out, get these sorted, and then our next thing to do is to look at the glass, make sure it's nice and clean. So I've just started cleaning the glass, but just thought I'd show you some interesting bits. So this is a trochus snail, baby trochus snail, and around it you can see an awful lot of copepods. So this system, although it's only been here 18 months, was running 4 or 5 years beforehand, when the customer bought it off someone else. So super covered in copepods and life. That's my cleaning Tunzi magnet in the background, and in the back there's Mr. Sailfin, and of course he's now disappeared. So again, really mature tank. So he's got a Mandarin Dragonet, who again I'll try and get. We'll just have a look at this guy again. Mandarin Dragonet, who's floating around in here, who's loving life because of all those pods that you can see. All right, let me get on with cleaning the glass, and then we'll come back. Might even try and get a video of me cleaning it as well. So just giving that glass a good scrape. So this is always one of the most satisfying bits of this job, as I'm sure you're all aware. Getting that glass nice and sparkly clean, so we can actually see what's going on inside the tank. Does knock all the pods off, but that'll give a nice little meal to the guys that we've got. So most people end up with Aptasia in their tank at some point, and you've got a choice of how you manage it. My choice is generally biological control, but if we can't use biological control for various reasons, then I really like F-Aptasia, It's a bit thicker than some of the other products on the market, and it really covers and seems to do quite well. So I really go a bit overkill. So my view is kill it with fire, make sure we've properly nuked it, and we'll try and see if I can show you a video of nuking some of the other ones. Yeah, really not the easiest to video these guys over the back. We'll definitely try and keep on top of them just by nuking them as much as physically possible. So always do this before water change, so I can keep all the pumps off and leave it as long as possible without just sitting around whilst I'm at a customer's house doing their bits and pieces. So I'll keep an eye out on some more, but we will make sure we've killed as many as possible. So something else that I'm managing in the tank at the moment is these purple polyps. So I'm just siphoning them out as much as possible, just pinching them and giving them a pull. So I'll quickly show you that, might speed up through some of it as well. So let's get cracking with that. I'll just start the siphoning, then we'll get on. So my literal goal is to pinch and pull and kill as many of them, but take them straight out of the tank as possible. Again, apart from really removing the whole rock, scrubbing it down or hydrogen peroxiding it. Obviously this has got some really nice mushrooms that we want to be careful that we don't damage too much. So my view is we'll just keep managing it. As I say, I'm paid to do this sort of stuff. If it's your own tank, it might be that you don't want to do this. You don't want to get your hands in here sort of every couple of weeks. As I say, when you're paid to manage it, then it's definitely a worthwhile thing to make sure that you're on top of, because these polyps can and do go around and kill coral just by overloading them as much as anything. Let's see, get you back in focus. There we go. Also, just being this trumpet isn't looking as happy as it could do. Candy cane trumpet, and don't know if you can see, probably can just about see that there's some polyps that are being covered by it. So as I say, my goal is just to put them off, knock them back enough to keep the coral happy and healthy. Also the odd vermitid snail, who I did get with some Aptasia F or F Aptasia, but also I can just break them and siphon them out as well. If we just go back over to this side, so hopefully you can see we've made quite a good dent in the purple polyps and just getting them off the rock as much as possible. There's a few more right over this side. I'm not sure if that's why that head of hammer is just a bit annoyed, but it's got some around the bottom, some around the base of this mushroom. And as I say, just making sure that they're all taken care of, or as much of them as I can are taken care of. Yeah, because I'm keeping on top of them, they're not too bad at the moment. They were really prolific in this tank. Just by doing this, keeping on top of it, doing it regularly. Unfortunately, sometimes the dishes are never done in a reef tank. You just need to keep going with all the bits and pieces. So let's get the filter floss out. It's this really simple system. So these pipes just come down into this filter floss, and then change this out as and when needed, every couple of weeks usually. It's not horrific, but nitrates crept up a little bit, so we will just change that out, put some new stuff in. There we go, some new stuff going in. So this tank has got so much live rock in it that actually it does a lot of the filtration for us, so we don't need to worry too much about mechanical filtration when it comes to this. So 3 barrels are almost done, so we're just topping up this one. Once this is filled up, always keep one. So I'll get rid of this one, and then we'll keep that one. We'll start putting water back in, and I'll show you what I do with that. So little tip coming up. So this is the TMC Reef Pump Compact 350 Nano. So this you can get exclusively, as I understand it, from Maidenhead Aquatics, and the reason it's so good is how small it is and the fact that it drops straight in to these barrels. So I use this for water changes, so I'll connect this up to my pipework, and then we'll just put it straight back in, and then whilst I do that, I'll be able to change the Riophos out, clean the skimmer, and do all that other work as we get these 3 barrels back in to the tank. So we're just going through this tank. We're just putting water back in, so you can probably see over my shoulder the water go back in. So just about to do Riophos. So this tank's running at 1.6. I'm going to aim for 0.5 because nitrate's still quite high and don't want to bring it down too quick. So this, you putting that into a Riophos calculator online. If you just Google Riophos calculator, it will come up. So we're going to put that in online, and it comes up with 27 tablespoons. Now that's in a reactor, so I usually will up it by a couple, but not the recommended double the dose. Main reason is obviously that's a lot of Riophos, and also we don't want to bring it down too quick. We want to keep it moderate. Like, the tank's running really well. Do I really want to drop it? Probably not. Do I want to maintain it or lower it? Yes. So that's why I'm doing that. So Riophos in the bag, going into tanks. Fairly dark in here, so I can't really see that much. And next thing to do is just drain off the little bit from the skimmer. Skimmer's not too dirty, so we won't worry too much about that. And then we're looking at getting the return pump back on. Yeah, so unfortunately this was the best video that I managed to catch of the Mandarin Dragonet. He's really fat, really big. As I said earlier in the video, all those pods that are in this tank, because it's so established, definitely make keeping these guys much easier. But overall, tank looking much cleaner. It's a nice clean glass. Cleaned it inside and out. You see some of the softies still a bit annoyed with me as I was cleaning all of those bits and pieces. Tank is back and running. 75 litre water change. So I'll be back here in a couple of weeks to give you an update if there is any. Yeah, so we will jump back in the van, head back home. I'll show you my tank and we'll run through some bits back there. So back at headquarters, in front of the big tank. I'll show you that in a bit, but things that you don't always see in aquarium maintenance companies. So it's not just about what we do. You can see all my other tanks in the background as well. It's not just at your house, it's also about the washing. So I wash all my towels and all my yellow cloths every week, and they all get washed with some laundry sanitizer as well as just some standard cleaner. So that makes sure that there's no cross-contamination and that all you guys have nice clean towels every time I come, and they're dried out and everything else. And then we also have, of being aquariums maintenance guys, is the bucket cleaning. So I'm going to give these all a spray down with some tap water. So give them all a clean. Again, these get cleaned. Never use the same bucket on 2 visits. I then use some Arclans. So this stuff, which is veterinary disinfectant cleaner and deodorizer, so we don't get any cross contamination. We get some nice good biosecurity. And then the other job that I've got to do is down the side of the house. So this is my water making station. So the furthest one away from us, so this one over here, is the RO, and then this is the salt. We've got full-on mixing station, so we can mix it all together between the two. And then I've got my RODI system there. So the 2 DI pods both need changing up today. So spending the next hour or two doing all of that and cracking on. That'll be some useful bits and pieces. Luckily, it's lovely blue sky and sunshine, but it is about 2 degrees out here, so it is a bit on the cold side. So next time you see me, might be in my big ski jacket. And I do apologise for the dogs shouting all the time. Right, let's get on with it. So give them a quick rinse. That was a 2-handed job, so I couldn't do any of this stuff. And then we give them a quick spray. So nice and simple. So this spray is 1 minute contact time. So literally by the time I've gone round and done the spray on all of it, then it's time to give it a quick wipe. So hence the yellow cloth. Give it a quick wipe and we can then rinse it out. So try and leave these outside to air dry obviously it's not going to dry at this temperature, so what I'll do is probably just move it back inside the house. All right, I'll be back with you when these are all clean. So my hands are so cold, but job done. So clean them all up. So I'll leave them here whilst I do all my other jobs of the day, and then yeah. So and then I'll move them inside to properly dry out. So I'll put them in a spare room that we've got, luckily. So yeah. So on to the next job. So the towels are washing. Next job is in there. So again, I've got to replace the DI. Yeah, there's nothing really much more to say about that, but I will replace the DI down the end. Currently running about 4 TDS, so it's just above where I like it to get to. So I'll replace both of them. All right, so DI even all sorted and replaced, but I just wanted to show you my RO system and this combination of taps. So first thing we do is we switch it on. So give it a little bit of time just to run through, and I can speak about these taps. These taps are really simple. They protect your DI resin from that initial TDS spike. So as you can see, I've got the left-hand one that's open after my in TDS meter. This one's open, so this is going to a drain, and this is going to my DI resin up top. So if we have a look at the in parts per million, you'll see this is going to jump up. So currently at 83, but I'm just about to put my booster pump on, so you'll probably see this jump up quite a bit in a second. So there we go. So this jumps up to over 200. The actual in, which is down here, out the tap, so my water flow into here is over 300. And then you can see we're now dropping down the other side. So what we're doing is we're letting the water go to waste, rather than going through the DI and then the DI getting used up on 100 plus TDS water. It doesn't take too long to do it. So literally as I'm speaking, you can see it come down. And usually in my area, let me just tell you so you can see it a bit better. Usually in my area, I like this to get down to it gets down to about 14 at the lowest, but I let it, once it's down at sort of 16, 18, I then look at switching it so we can get the water through the DI and start making that up. And that's really difficult to put on one-handed. But as you can see, it's ticking down nice and slowly. I might just speed this video up, but I'm going to stand here and film it as it gets down to 18. So I didn't actually speed that video up at all. So we're now at 18 to 17. It will get down to about, as I say, 16 or 14. The longer I stand here, the lower it will go back down. 15, there we go. Cool, so I'm comfortable with that. So what we do now is we open up this one, which starts letting water through to the DI, and then we close off the drain. So now that water's coming out and going straight up and through, and you can see it trickling in to there. And with any luck, once it trickles in, that fills up, that canister fills up. Again, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch that. Once they're all filled up, then we'll get the water coming out in this, and you can see my out meter sits there. So give it a few minutes, we'll be back once they're filled up and I've got some water coming out and I can show you what the TDS is like. Here's my home reef tank. There's no filter on at the moment, but just thought I'd show you that because the white cupboards go really orange when we put the filter on, which we'll do so in a second. If you're on Instagram and you want to follow me, my Instagram handle is down here, so the newbie reefer. Picked that partly because I was new when I set it up, but also like you're always new, you're always learning something new when you do these things. So let's put the filter on and give you a better idea of what the actual tank looks like, and we'll have a little wander in. So I'm just going to do a short sort of run through, walk through of the tank. If you want this to be a bit longer or you want something more in the future, then just give me a shout. Again, not super blues at the moment, and you're getting quite a lot of reflections because we're during the day, but very happy to film something at night under blues if people want to see that. So tank was set up just over a year ago, but this part of the aquascape here was an old 3-foot aquascape that I had in my old smaller tank that was about 3 years old when I moved it across. So quite established, and that's why we've got a nice established system at the moment. Newest fish added in is Mr. Scarlet Hawkfish. So He's been a cracking little addition. He came from a tank breakdown via Moss End, Maidenhead Aquatics, so reef keeper there, and he's been brilliant. The candy cane, the jack-o'-lantern I had in the old tank, and they were doing well, but they've really kicked on now. This hammer was a relatively new addition from a tank breakdown, probably getting a bit too battered by flow. But yeah, generally, as I say, this part of the aquascape is all old, with older corals on it. However, the two pieces up here are from a hobbyist down in Hampshire. These two, after I had a little bit of, well, quite a lot of RTN during the summer from letting it get too hot, unfortunately, because I'm getting used to managing a bigger tank. And then this is all the new aquascape with some of the other fish and the other guys that are here. So again, some of the older corals, some of the newer ones, that pink gorgonia at the back, which has got a bit over the top now, is an older coral. And then we've got Lobo that was in the old tank. These Duncans are all relatively new. Candy cane was from the old tank as well. This is one of my favourite pieces in the tank. So this is Dragon Soul Favia, so absolutely lovely piece. It's really come on nicely. This Duncan coral, the other side of my nori clip, is really taking off as well. So got some newer SPS up the top, bits from various people. So some of this is from Moss End, some of this is from Prestige Reef, and some from other hobbyists as well. Lovely strawberry chalice, that's from Prestige. The jelly bean and the alveopora over there are both, again, another couple of bits from Prestige. These are actually from my wife's tank. These rastazoas, so they're doing well. And then most of the Euphilia down this end is from my old tank, apart from the torches. Lost a couple of torches recently, so this guy here, and there was a gold torch over the back, so he was New York Nicks. I think he got done by the frog spawn, that bluey coloured frog spawn, and I moved him, and unfortunately lost both heads still. And then the gold one at the back, again, I think the frog spawn didn't like him too much. So this Trachyphylla has been doing all right. I think my copper band's currently pecking at him, which is why he's not quite as fluffy as he was once upon a time. But Scarlet's floating around with us today. And then I've got my sort of mini Gonny garden. The green one, again, is a wife's piece from her tank. And then I've got a Medusa Gonny from Prestige Ryan. And then the other, this pink one, and the Iron Man Bernie, they're from Reef Keeper. And this is one from Ryan. And then I've got a couple of bits up here, which again are from my wife's tank, which I'm keeping at the moment, and a few frags of stylos and bits and pieces just generally. So fish wise, got 20-ish fish in here, 7 antheas. You can see the male floating around in the middle there, big lipstick tang who's showing off, and the masked rabbit fish as well, who I love. Quite a few wrasse, so you got the silver belly just there, 2 peacocks, one I'm hoping is going to turn into a male, got the copper band over the back as well, 2 snow onyx clowns who are currently mixing around in the gonnies. I'm not sure which one they want to be in really, but very happy to do a bit of a bigger tank walkthrough of the whole tank and how I run it and all the other bits and pieces, but at the moment just keeping it sort of a little bit shorter. It's always nice to show what I do at home. So I was just filming this whilst we're waiting for the RO, so we'll go back and have a look at that in a tick. So I've just shown you through the tank. So we're now back outside for the TDS. So here's the TDS meter. So this is that 14 that I was at 16. It's now 14. And then if we have a look at the out, there we go, the magic 0 parts per million. Once it gets to about 2 or 3, then I start to want to change it out. So I usually do 1 canister. So the one on the right, I then move to the left. So there we are. A bit of a different video. Hopefully you get a good idea of how my life is. It can be quite busy with tanks. It can be quite life admin at home, doing bits and pieces. So if you want a bit more of a tour of my tank that's behind me, let me know in the comments below. I can give you some more information either there or do a full video on it. Very happy to do that. I will bring you along to my next group of maintenance. I've got a plumbing job to do for a chiller for a new system, so that'll be quite interesting to film that going along, as long as the customer's happy with that. So we'll do that next time. Do make sure you like and subscribe if you found this interesting and you think this would be something that other people would like. Make sure you do like and subscribe. It helps with all the algorithms. Again, no cost to you, and just helps me out quite a lot if you like this sort of content. All right then, ladies and gents, take care and see you in the next one.